virus party. And his disgust at that infuriating term was perfectly expressed by his sign language interpreter, who really got across the whole "what the fuck is wrong with you people" sentiment. Truly, that gesture speaks for America right now. Gift that woman immediately. So we absolutely should not be relaxing measures yet. And Trump actually can't force states to do that. It's up to governors, some of whom, from both parties, are taking this very seriously. Unfortunately, other governors are not. Ron DeSantis in Florida is still resisting issuing a statewide stay-at-home order. And in Texas, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick took things even further, agreeing with the president that the economic damage of a lockdown is just too great to bear.
I'm not living in fear of COVID-19. What I'm living in fear of is what's happening to this country. And, you know, Tucker, no one reached out to me and said, as a senior citizen, are you willing to take a chance on your survival in exchange for keeping the America that all America loves for your children and grandchildren? And if that's the exchange, I'm all in.
What are you talking about? First, if you really want to die so the US economy can boom, we already have a system in place for that, and it's called Black Friday. Have at it. Second, we know what's happened in other countries like Iran and Spain that didn't take social distancing seriously. They're now home to mass graves you can see from space and ice skating rinks being used as makeshift morgues. And I'm in no way minimizing the economic suffering caused by the shutdown, and we should do everything we can to mitigate it. This week's stimulus bill is probably only the start of what is needed for workers. But the idea that people should sacrifice themselves for the economy is absurd. And yet, it actually gained traction this week, co-signed by a variety of conservative pundits, perhaps no more enthusiastically than this guy.
I contend there are millions of Americans just like me that will look at their children and their grandchildren's future and they will say, I am not going to have them a slave to debt. I am not going to erase their future because I was afraid to die. I'm not afraid to die. I am afraid that our nation might die, and that dooms millions to poverty, illness, starvation, and a lack of hope. Let's see if that will trend.
Shut up.
Yeah, let's see if that will trend, you thirsty bitch. But you get that the coronavirus is not the Hunger Games, right? You can't volunteer yourself as tribute. And what you're doing is actually much darker. You are actively volunteering others, including people of all ages with health conditions, to die. And even if these guys are okay with letting the coronavirus kill as many people as it feels like, so that the economy's protected, which again, really, there are, and I cannot believe I have to say this, significant drawbacks to hundreds of thousands of people dying. Hospitals would be completely overwhelmed, which means people suffering from things that aren't the coronavirus also wouldn't be able to get the treatment that they need, leading to even more people dying, which, to put this in the only terms that they seem to care about, also tanks the economy. So relaxing social distancing right now isn't just trading one bad outcome for another. It's trading one bad outcome for both bad outcomes. It's shitting on your cake and choking on it too. Look, it's critically important for America to be getting a clear, consistent message about the severity of the threat that we're currently facing. That is the only way that we will be able to manage this virus, contain casualties, and get back to something resembling normalcy. And floating an Easter end date isn't the only troubling decision the president has made. Right now, one of the major challenges facing hospitals across the country is a critical shortage of even basic personal protective equipment like masks, respirators, gloves, and face shields, because they are running short to an alarming extent.
There are people that literally are wearing bandanas
because they have nothing better than that to protect themselves.
I've seen people using the plastic protector sheaths for their kids' homework to put in as a face mask. I've seen people even wearing ski goggles, Halloween costumes that were masks to try and cover up parts of their face.
Holy shit. That is terrifying, both for the medical workers who are risking their lives to help patients, but also for the patients. Imagine being hospitalized for coronavirus and then seeing this walk through the door. I'd opt out. Yeah, I might die, but that's better than whatever this freaky shit is. And it's not just masks. Hospitals also need equipment like ventilators to help people breathe. Without enough of them, people will die. And yet, as recently as Thursday, Trump was choosing to not so much address the problem as try and minimize it. Watch him dismiss a request for ventilators from New York Governor Andrew Cuomo.
I have a feeling that a lot of the numbers that are being said in some areas are just bigger than they're going to be. I don't believe you need 40,000 or 30,000 ventilators. You know, you go into major hospitals sometimes, they'll have 2 ventilators, and now all of a sudden they're saying, can we order 30,000 ventilators?
Yeah, that's the problem. Hospitals don't have that many ventilators, and now there's a pandemic. Trump must be so confused by fire departments. You walk into most houses, they got some sinks, maybe a few cups. Now all of a sudden they're on fire and they say they need hundreds of gallons of water sprayed at them with hoses. I just don't buy it. And the thing is, medical equipment shortages are a problem that Trump actually could help solve. As a wartime president, he has a major tool at his disposal, the Defense Production Act. It enables the federal government to compel companies to prioritize the production of essential supplies. People have been begging him to use that authority for weeks now, but he only did so for the first time on Friday to force GM, and only GM, to make ventilators. And it's not like the DPA can magic them out of nowhere. It could still take months for companies to make them. That is why it would have been nice if Trump had invoked it fucking months ago. You know, when he saw it was a pandemic before everyone else. And there is still so much more he could be doing with the DPA, because it also allows the federal government to take charge of allocating materials like protective equipment and direct them to where they're most needed. And without that happening, right now, states are competing against each other in a free-for-all, as New York Governor Andrew Cuomo will tell you.
I'm competing with other states. I'm bidding up other states on the prices. Because you have manufacturers who sit there and California offers them $4, and they say, well, California offered $4, I offer $5, another state calls in and offers $6. It's not the way to do it.
No, it isn't. States obviously shouldn't have to hope they can outbid each other for boxes of life-saving equipment while the nation watches. This is